Okay, Mark meets Neil Christie, the MD at Wieden Kennedy, London. Hi, Neil.
Hi.
Can you give us a very quick summary of your career to date?
I've been working in advertising in London for the last 25 years or so. I started as a trainee researcher on the grad intake at an agency called Allen Brady and Marsh. I was there for a couple of years, went from there, they went bust. Then I went from there to an agency called Yellowhammer, kind of creative shop. Was there for about 5 years, they went bust.
What was your role there?
I was account manager.
Okay.
Account manager, account director, worked on various bits of business. I went from Yellowhammer to BBH, I think, was next. I was there for a couple of years working on Audi. Went from there to...
And what was your job title there?
Gosh. Account director, I guess.
Okay.
I think by the time I left Yellowhammer, I was on the board, and then, you know, because agencies used to have boards in those days. And then I went to BBH, was account director on Audi. After a couple of years, I moved to TBWA to run the Nissan business there, and did various things. I was at TBWA 8 years. Was new business director, managing director. Worked across loads of different stuff. Left there and did a couple of years. Well, left there and freelanced at Widen's, ran the Honda pitch, which we won. Then went to Partners BDDH for a couple of years, and then after that came back to Widen's, where I've been for the last 8 years as managing director.
So quite automotive heavy, I guess.
Done a lot of car accounts, yeah.
What's been the most embarrassing thing that's happened in your career so far?
The most embarrassing?
Is there a story you've got or something that's happened that you thought, God?
There's loads of them. It's just trying to work out which is the most embarrassing. A long time ago now, I nearly threw up in a meeting because I was so hungover. I had to leave the meeting to throw up. I thought I got away with it, but I hadn't. So that was quite embarrassing.
Where were you in your career at the time?
I was an account director at the time.
Okay. What's the best bit of career advice you've been given?
Probably, I'm not sure if it's career advice, but the two things that I remember was, they're both kind of quotes or mottos rather than necessarily bits of advice. But Carl Johnson always used to say, "Progress is in the hands of the unreasonable man." It's a quote from someone or other, so he always used to make the point that you don't actually make a difference by just being a yes man. And Dan Wieden says of this place and for everybody here that the work comes first. So you've always got, whenever anything is in doubt or where there's a decision to be made, the important thing is trying to do the best work that you possibly can.
When you first started out in your career all of those years ago, did you ever kind of see yourself...
All those years ago? So I'm so old.
Yeah, really old. Did you ever see did you kind of have a plan to become a managing director of an agency? Did you see yourself kind of taking over these kind of responsibilities?
Oh yeah, when I first started I had this fantastic career plan.
Some people come into the industry and they're like, right, this is where I want to go, this is who's inspiring me, and some people just end up where they end up.
No, I definitely had a plan, my plan was I had to be on the board before I was 30, I had to work at BBH because that was the best agency in town, and I had to be managing director before I was 32.
Right, so I'm guessing you've done all that.
I did manage to do all that, and then gave up on all that very quickly afterwards, and decided that there was other things to worry about than what the next rung on the ladder was.
Yeah, sure. If you could work for any agency on the planet, obviously right now, apart from WK London, who would it be?
WK Portland.
Okay. Good answer. I can't take that away from you. And for you, what's the best thing about agency life?
The people. I mean, it's the people. You get to work with some great folk, and I enjoy the work. I like the variety of it. I love the fact that you get to work with some great, inspiring, interesting clients across a whole bunch of different industries. I think that's the best thing about it, is you can be going from a meeting talking about retail to a meeting talking about butter, to a meeting talking about sportswear, to a meeting talking about something completely different again. So that's the thing that makes it interesting, is the variety.
What's the best brands you've worked on so far?
They're all great.
Okay, you've got to say that. Who inspires you in this industry or outside of this industry?
Well, Dan Widen's a pretty inspiring guy to work for. So does him. I'm always inspired when I see great work that other agencies have done, mainly because you get annoyed about it and you kind of think, damn, we've got to do better. And then I'm always inspired and interested in people who do interesting creative work in any field, particularly the ones who kind of follow their own path and do stuff which is individual or different or outside the mainstream. So I'm a big fan of the band The Fall. Love the fact that they've been going for 30 years and always pursued their own vision. Same thing goes for a filmmaker like David Lynch, or a comics artist and writer like Alan Moore, or Jack Kirby, or a writer like there are loads and loads of writers. I'm just kind of interested in stuff which to me is interesting or individual or thought-provoking.
So no one necessarily from a client services background?
Well, I've worked with some great people with that background in the past. I mentioned Carl Johnson, Nigel Bogle, my boss Dave Lure. Those have all been great people to work with, yeah.
Okay. What are your interests outside of work?
Well, family. I've got a wife and 2 kids, and so that occupies a fair bit of time.
So you're not going to be transferring to W&K Portland anytime soon?
Not in the near future, no. So there's that. Other than that, books, films, music, comics, art, stuff, life. I mean, that's the great thing about living in London. There's always loads of stuff going on.
What's your favourite ad campaign of all time?
Of all time?
Of all time.
Hard to get it down to just one. Some of my favourites would be Sony PlayStation Double Life, Apple Here's to the Crazy Ones, Honda Diesel Gur, which we did here. I think the P&G, proud sponsor of Mum's, Best Job ad from Portland this year was an outstanding piece of work. So those are some of my favourites.
How involved are you in terms of the recruitment process here at W&K? When and where do you get involved in hiring new people?
I would tend to be involved in the latter stages of key senior hirings. That's where I would get involved.
So is that typically roles that are decision-making roles where maybe you have to work closely with those people?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and that across all departments.
I'm interested to find out from you how does W&K currently sell itself externally to clients, and what do you think the perception is of W&K London externally as well?
The way that we sell ourselves is primarily based on the work that we do for our existing clients. So, like I say, there's a kind of an internal mantra here that the work comes first, and So the key selling point for us to clients is the quality of the work we do and the results that we generate for our clients' business. And I think that's the main reason that new prospects come to us, is because they've seen the work we've done for other people and been impressed by it. I think there are some differences in the way that we work. There are some differences in the fact that we have a reputation for strong international campaigns through a very small network rather than a kind of multiple office thing. But ultimately, I think the thing that differentiates Wieden and Kennedy is the quality of the work that we do and the results that it generates. So for a small group of clients who are looking for genuinely breakthrough, innovative, creative, these days often on an international basis, there actually are very, very few agencies that they can talk to.
Yeah, but also, I guess if clients don't want that, do you turn the work away, or do you say you're not the right agency for them, or do you still have bread and butter accounts as well as the accounts that you can be a bit more creative with?
We don't differentiate between, we don't have a kind of first and second division clients. We're here to do the best work of our lives on every client. So our attitude is if we can't do the best work in the world for a client, then we shouldn't be working with that client. You know, our promise to our people and to our clients is that we will do the best work of our lives, and we're not interested in doing any less than that.
And what do you expect the perception of the agency to be from the outside? What would you like people to be saying or perceive it to be? Or does that not even matter?
Well, obviously most people have never heard of us, you know. I kind of think advertising agencies are like firms of lawyers or accountants, you know. You've probably heard of your own one, but you're not very clear about who the others are. But I would hope that people would know our work. So I wouldn't expect most people to know the name Wieden and Kennedy, but when you say to them, do you know our work for Nike and Honda and Old Spice, and then they go, oh right, there are people that do that. Oh right, okay, so I form an opinion of them based on the quality of their work.
Yeah, like a lot of ad agencies, I guess WK have had a lot of ups and downs over the years with big account wins and big account losses. What have been the kind of main highs and lows for you, and how do you typically deal with that when it comes to motivating the agency?
The big highs and lows in business terms recently were winning and then parting company with Nokia, and then very recently winning the Tesco business in the UK. So you know, the nature of the business is you go through ups and downs like that. We are lucky in that being an independent, so we're privately owned, so we don't have shareholders to answer to. We are able to take a long-term view, to ride out difficulty when we part company with big clients, and to try and pick the right opportunities to grow the business rather than just take the first thing that comes along.
Let's move on to a quick fire round. One-word answers. Can line or D&AD pencil?
I don't care. And it's 3 words.
Olympic gold medal or an Oscar?
Oscar.
The brightest person you've worked with?
Oh God. Nigel Bogle.
The most creative person you've worked with?
Oh, that's hard. I don't know.
Okay. The best looking person you've worked with?
My wife.
Creatives or suits?
Both.
Money or happiness?
Happiness.
Apple or Android?
Apple.
Degree or no degree?
Well, I have a degree.
Retained work or pitch work?
Retained.
Art directors or copywriters?
Both.
Web or mobile?
Web.
Independent agencies or networked agencies?
Independent.
Outsourced production or on-site production?
Outsource.
Don Draper or Roger Sterling?
I I don't really want to be either Don Draper or Roger Sterling. I mean, they're both compromised, deeply flawed. But if I had to choose, obviously I'm going to be Don.
And lastly, twist or stick?
Although having said that, I might have to change that because Roger does get to sleep with Joan. So
yes,
there is that. Sorry, what was the last one?
And the last one is twist or stick?
Stick.
Thank you very much.